Yesterday, another private plane crashed, leaving behind many questions that should be answered right away.
I want to take us back to San Diego, where a small plane crashed into a neighborhood, and it has created a scene of devastation. That plane crashed into several homes this morning, killing multiple people.
Right into one of the U.S. military's largest housing neighborhoods just before 4 a.m. this morning, when families were asleep. Officials say as many as 6 people on board are feared dead tonight.
The scenes from the neighborhood plane crash looked like a war zone.
Wake up! Fire! Wake up! Gotta go! Get out of the way! Get away from the car!
But I'm sure you've heard about all of this already. What I want to share are some things that simply don't make any sense. There are too many creepy coincidences and connections here that have disturbed a lot of people who've been following this story. For instance, did you know that the small private jet had a call sign of N666DS? Now, obviously, I don't need to tell you what 666 symbolizes. However, what you need to know is that one of the famous passengers on this plane was Daniel Williams, who was the drummer for a band called The Devil Wears Prada. I'm sure you're starting to see the crazy coincidences already, but wait, there's more. In his last few Instagram posts, Daniel told everyone that he was flying on this jet, and in one particular post, he seems to be sitting in the cockpit, and the post reads, "Hey, you look at me. I'm the co-pilot now." Now, I'm sure the late musician made that post just to show that he was having fun, and it is sad how 6 people on board died in that crash. Focusing in on the number 6, because recently I told you guys how this number has been showing up in every major plane crash in the last few months. I mean, I'm shocked by how frequently this happens, but I have to say, I told you something weird was going on. However, there is something I want to share with you that's been bugging me. I've covered so many crashes in the last few months, and for some reason, the number 6 often seems to come up while talking about the death toll in these private jet incidents. I'm sure you remember the Philadelphia crash, where an air ambulance plunged into a populated neighborhood and resulted in the deaths of all 6 people on board.
Yeah, man, she's still hanging.
In the Hudson River crash, all 6 people inside the helicopter died tragically.
3 adults and 3 children were on board a Bell 206 helicopter that had left from the downtown Skyport just about 3 p.m. At this time, all 6 victims have been removed from the water, and sadly, all 6 victims have been pronounced deceased.
And then we have this family of doctors and college football stars, and once again, 6 people lost their lives.
The private plane crashed just after noon in a muddy field near Copiague, killing all 6 people on board.
Now, it might just be a coincidence, but I wanted to share it with you because for some reason, coincidences often pop up when you try to investigate these crashes. Now, some people told me back then that we are seeing 6 dead people every time because these small jets mostly have room for only about 6 people. But that theory falls on its face when you realize this was a Cessna 550, which can seat up to as many as 8 people, so it's not about the number of seats. And while we're talking about the plane, another thing simply doesn't make any sense. How did a small aircraft end up burning down so many houses? And don't tell me it was the fuel, because from everything I've seen, these planes can carry about 700 gallons of fuel, which might seem like a lot, but it's simply not enough to burn down an entire block so rapidly. I mean, those huge oil tankers don't cause this much destruction, even though they can carry more than 11,000 gallons of it. Now, I'm sure there can be a reasonable explanation for this, and if you have one in mind, make sure to share it with everyone in the comments section down below. Now, moving on, I want to share another developing story. Do you remember the Make America Healthy Again Commission that RFK Jr. had established? Well, they've published their initial findings already.
4 months ago, I created the Presidential Commission to Make America Healthy Again, and today the commission officially delivers its first report on childhood health. Here are just some of the alarming findings, and they really are alarming. It's unbelievable, terrible. More than 40% of American children now have at least one chronic health condition. Since the 1970s, rates of childhood cancer have soared in many cases by nearly 50%, 50%. Well, in the 1960s, less than 5% of the children were obese. Now over 20% are obese. A few decades ago, 1 in 1, think of this one. This is, to me, the one that gets me every time, and it seems to be getting worse. Just a few decades ago, 1 in 10,000 children had autism. Today, it's 1 in 31. Last time I heard the number is 1 in 34, right? Now it's 1 in 31. There's something wrong, and we will not stop until we defeat the chronic disease epidemic.
I don't think anyone is shocked by those numbers. Anyone with their own eyes can see that our kids look way less healthy than children from any other developed nation across the planet. And in order to address that, it looks like they're making sure people can't buy any sugary drinks with their food stamps.
We are on track to sign multiples of SNAP waivers to get junk food and sugary drinks out of our food stamp system. And I am so proud. I am so proud to announce that on Monday, I was in Nebraska with Governor Pillen, where we signed the first one. An hour ago, I signed the second one for Governor Braun in Indiana. He may not even know that. I've got it right here, sir. I also signed the third one, Governor Kim Reynolds of Iowa, about an hour ago. With a half a dozen more coming down the line.
Now look, this might turn out to be a great decision in the long run, but that program only serves 12% of the people in this country. If you really think those soft drinks are killing us slowly, you need to force the companies to make them healthier somehow. It's 2025. We have AI making insanely realistic videos. We have autonomous robots working in factories, and you're telling me we still need to make our snacks the same way we did hundreds of years ago? Now, in this same press conference, the president once again reiterated that he wants those drug prices to come down ASAP.
I'd like to ask Oz in particular, because you and I know each other. He's a very tough hombre, this one. He's tough as hell. And so if you can lead the group, and it's not going to be easy. You're going to have to get in and you're going to have to fight. If you do it, you can have, within a period of weeks, you can have drug costs that drop like a rock, okay? So you, as a group, I have great confidence, and if you don't do it, I am firing every single one of you.
However, I'm telling you guys that unless we pass serious legislation to bring down these drug prices, the president is going to have a tough fight. The U.S. pharmaceutical market is valued at more than $600 billion. That kind of money can topple governments, so you better believe there's going to be a fight. And now that we're on the subject of health, let me talk about another crazy situation. I'm sure you've all heard that the former President Joe Biden has been diagnosed with a very aggressive form of prostate cancer. Now, of course, President Trump sent his prayers to Biden, but he also made another point.
Do you want to respond to President Biden being diagnosed with cancer? Are you going to call your predecessor?
I think it's very sad, actually. I'm surprised that it wasn't, the public wasn't notified a long time ago, because to get to stage 9, that's a long time. I just had my physical. You saw that. You saw the results of that particular test. I think that test is standard to pretty much anybody getting a physical, good physical.
He's not wrong. It is not possible that Joe Biden and his team did not know about this disease, and even MSNBC is admitting this.
If you have prostate cancer that is spread to the bone, then he's most certainly, you are saying, had it when he was president of the United States.
Oh, yeah.
Then the question is simple. Why in the world were Biden's White House aides saying that he was healthy as ever?
We respect and protecting people's privacy, so do not want to share. I'm not going to share people's names from here. But the president, I can tell you, has seen a neurologist 3 times, as it's connected to a physical that he gets every year that we provide to all of them.
There seems to be a sort of rash of videos that have been edited to make the president appear especially frail or mentally confused. I'm wondering if the White House is especially worried about the fact that this appears to be a pattern that we're seeing more often.
Yeah, and I think you all have called this the cheap fakes video, and that's exactly what they are. They are cheap fakes video. They are done in bad faith.
Surely they knew what was going on, and they still kept pushing a very sick person to run for president of the United States. That's not only cruel, but also ethically wrong in every single way. Now, this cancer revelation also makes those pardons look even shadier.
Freaking pardons. You think Joe couldn't remember what he'd had for breakfast? He couldn't remember where the dadgum bathroom was. And he reviewed 8,000 files on pardons. Give me a freaking break.
The congressman is raising fair questions. How can someone who is showing signs of serious mental decline be signing so many pardons every day? And that's why I'm glad people in this administration are looking to find out who was actually using that auto pen.
Senior Democrat saying, look, it was these 3 people that controlled access and they were making money off of it. I don't know if I believe it yet, but the point is, I think we have to get to the bottom of it.
We're going to end today's video right there. But tell me, what do you think about this crazy connection between the number 6 and so many aviation disasters? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. If you enjoyed today's video, give it a like, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and I hope to catch you on the next one.